What's up, collective? Thank you for joining me for Soul Food Sundays. If it's your first time joining me, my name is Keita, and if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I am a little late by about a week, by exactly a week, for bringing forth the Soul Food Sundays message. I usually try to do it and have it released for the first Sunday of the month. But because your girl been a little busy, I really didn't have a chance to, and I also didn't have a download to bring to you guys. But all things occur in divine timing, right? And so I definitely have a message today, and actually like a little story times, cause I just got in from the gym and my driver was telling me a story. The Uber guy, he was telling me a story about how I noticed he had an accent. So I was like, "Where you from?" And he was like, "I'm from Jamaica." I was like, "Yeah, y'all my people. I don't know how y'all my people, but y'all are my people. Like, I love Jamaica. I love everything about the culture. When I went to Jamaica, I literally did not want to leave. Like, something in me felt like I needed to stay, or I should have stayed. And if I could have stayed, I would have stayed. Usually 7 days on a vacation is enough for me. I'm ready to come back home. That particular time, I was like, yeah, nah, this is home. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what that was about, but I just love everything about Jamaican culture. So I was like, what brings you to the States? And he said, you seen that show 90 Day Fiance? I was like, yeah. I was like, were you on it? And he was like, no, but that's kind of like the story of my life. I was like, oh. So the reason why I said, oh shit, or whatever I said when I looked up is because there's a wasp nest right above my door. But I noticed that one of them is on my table that I have the iPad set up on. And so I have a story relative to that as well. But I thought it was just him, right? I didn't see the rest of them. I looked up just then, and like it's a whole nest with a whole bunch of their asses on it. And they not just wild, they yellow jackets. But anyway, I'll get back to him. So the guy was telling me how he ended up in America. And he said that he met a woman online who was like a Facebook friend, and she was a friend of a friend or something. And he said something about cruise ships. Bro, you about to burn yourself. The wasp is climbing up my stick of incense. I told you that wasn't a good idea. You was looking for a way on the ground. There you go. I think it's something wrong with these wasp wings, but we were going to talk about that later. I'm going to try to remember to come back to it. But anyway, so he was telling me about how he got to the States. He met this lady, and they were hanging out, getting to know each other, dating or whatever. He said he would come back and forth to the States sometimes, and he would spend like months at a time in New York. So he's getting to know the lady, and she said, we should get married so you can get your citizenship. So this may be pertinent to the reading or not. I don't know. We'll see. But she was like, we should get married so you can get your citizenship. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. So they get married, and he was like, she was going to the gym, she was cooking, she was doing this and that. And then when they got married, of course, she slacked off. She started gaining weight. She stopped cooking. They ain't had sex in 3 months. This, that, and the third. And I was like, oh. I said, so y'all's marriage was transactional and not based on love. And he got a little bit offended, but not to the point of wanting to put me out the car, I could tell. And I was like, sounds like it was understood that you would benefit from the marriage because it would, you would get citizenship, your green card or whatever. I said, but it doesn't sound like she was clear and transparent with you about what end of the transaction was going to benefit her. I said, it sounds like she's an older woman, and she wanted to be married. I said, I don't know about marriage as a institution in Jamaica, but here it is said that people marry for love. Yes, it is transactional. There's going to be some give and take, some giving and receiving in the marriage, but for the most part, people at least like to lead with, oh, we're marrying for love. And you and her did not love each other. So that was very much a primarily transactional relationship. And he got where I was coming from with it, because he was like, nobody made anybody do anything. I said, I'm not saying that. But y'all had a kind of like an agreement, and the marriage, the common denominator in the marriage was not love. It was so that you could get your citizenship. But it sounds like y'all never discussed what she was getting out of the deal, which it sounds like she, because marriage is like a status symbol here in the U.S., she wanted the status of being a wife and having a husband. She's an older woman, so she feel like she's going against the clock, and she need to get her a husband, be able to show up to church and to the parties with a +1, and have somebody to pay the bills and all of that. And it's exactly the situation that they in, because he was saying how he pays damn near all the bills, and every time he get paid, credit card bill coming out, light bill coming out, or whatever. But he was like, he's looking to stay in the marriage for another year so that he can save some money and get and get his citizenship. I was like, yeah, you already in. You might as well get, the thing that you bargained for out of the deal. But I say all of that to say to you all, stop getting in these relationships and connections where love is not the common denominator, and you're not clear on where each other are benefiting from the dynamic, what each other look to get out of the dynamic. Because it seemed from talking to him that he was clear on it being a good idea to marry this woman who he barely knew or had not known for a long time. And he admitted that he didn't love her. He was like, he liked her and he was wanting to get to know her better, which is not a good reason to legally get married, right? But she sweetened the deal because she married me, make me your wife, and I'm gonna get you citizenship. But they did not discuss how that arrangement benefited her. And now he feeling like he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, and hell, he still ain't got what it is that he signed up for. So it's just a fucked up situation, but that's what happens when we enter into these codependent connections. Be they romantic relationships, sexual relationships, friendships, work partnerships, business. Like, it's important to be clear on what the other is expecting out of the situation, what their motive is, and what the common denominator is in the situation. And if it's not love, which I know, listen, I ain't judging, I've been there. I very much was at a point in my life where I was with someone. They had their reasons why being with me was of benefit, and it wasn't love. And I had my reasons why being with them seemed to benefit me, and the idea and the hope of marriage as a status symbol was one of them. Meanwhile, I couldn't stand this nigga, and it was what I thought was love, but it actually was codependence. So we could save ourselves a lot of heartache, pain, drained resources, time by not entering into these unhealthy dynamics where basically individuals have their motives and we have ours, but nowhere in there, or the very bare minimum of it is not even love. It's like, I like you a little bit, I can stand you, I can tolerate you. Why the fuck would you sign up for marrying somebody? Like, you going into it with no idea of divorcing. This is for life. This is what we're doing. And then this is somebody you tolerate. But anyway, I hope that helps somebody, because not only did I have that conversation just recently and I reflected on it, but I was led to share it for a reason. So some of y'all may need to take inventory of your connections to really explore your motives in your connection and what the common denominator is. If you had to say that you and this individual share something, what is that, and is that something strong enough? Does it provide a strong enough foundation to sustain the relationship over time? But I'm going to be pulling some cards, and I'm usually led to pull from the tarot and then clarify with some oracle, but I'm actually led to pull from the Moonology manifestation deck and then pull some tarot to clarify and close us out with the Lightworker oracle. Circling back to the yellow jacket, I'm gonna actually have to look into the significance of wasp or yellow jacket specifically to see what message was coming through there. But I watched that yellow jacket crawl to every corner of this table in front of me, and it appeared that something was wrong with its wings, so it could not fly and possibly get back to where I now know is the nest where the rest of the fam and the homies are. And so it kept like pretty much going to the same corners, taking the same route. It never took flight, and I was like, damn, something must be wrong with the wings, and really ain't shit I could do to help it, right? Then it climbed up on my bowl that I just sat on the table with my incense and climbed to the top of the incense stick. And once it got to the part of the incense stick that's hot and that's ash, it fell off and onto the ground. And what I'm really getting from that is sometimes when you feel limited in your mobility, your curiosity leads you, I guess, like wherever you need to be at that time. You know what I'm saying? Even your limitations come to serve you, and sometimes you need to be set apart from the group, from the pack, from the fam, in order to get to where it is that you're being divinely led to go. And so your explorations along the journey where you feel like it's a mistake, something wrong, you know what I'm saying, shit's broken, shit's falling apart, it actually comes to serve you in some way. So that may be something significant to you guys as well along your journey. But if I'm not mistaken, today, the day that I'm recording this, it's a Monday, it's the new moon in Virgo. Virgo being an earth sign, a very earthy, grounded, perfectionist energy represented by the Virgin. And so that may be significant to you guys, and new moon energy is always a great time to manifest something new. So let's see what it is that we're needing to know about this energy as a collective. God, I thank you for this opportunity to be a messenger for your people. I call in the ancestors and spirit guides to speak to me, and through me may the words from my mouth resonate with all those under the sound of my voice at this time. So it is. So we had two cards to fall out as I was shuffling, and we have new moon in Pisces, attuned to the divine. You need to tap in and surrender. Like, really take the time to connect and commune with the Most High. Meditate. Be mindful of what you're consuming, what you're eating, and just set aside that time to really vibe on a higher frequency and attune to the divine. This new moon in Pisces, the energy is very much like manifesting, but manifesting your spiritual gifts, your sensitivity, your Pisces energy, which is very much like a dreamy, spiritual, metaphysical, lovey-dovey, sensitive, empathic energy. So you definitely want to be mindful of the way you are manifesting in your spiritual practices at this time. So you're tuned to the divine and step up and lead. The divine is leading many of us with this new moon in Capricorn energy, another new moon energy. And what I'm hearing is leadership opportunities are being made available. The more you attune to the divine and elevate your frequency and vibe on a higher level and tap in with your higher self or your Ori, you're being led to opportunities to lead, opportunities to not be a follower but actually lead the pack in some way. And like that wasp, you know what I'm saying, it may be those situations where you feel like you're limited or your wings have been clipped or you don't have the capacity that you used to have to do things a certain way or move around a certain way, when actually it's the divine leading you to do things differently, to live differently, to thrive in another habitat or environment. So that is something to be mindful of as well. This new moon in Pisces energy is very watery, but you have like a lot of stars there, and then you have this Capricorn energy, which is more grounded, and Capricorn is an earth sign, but you also have a lot of star energy there. So I may be speaking to some star seeds, those of you who resonate with having connections to star families, star origins, but also that energy of healing, rejuvenation, rebirth, optimism. Stay optimistic. Star energy is the star card in the tarot is Aquarius energy, so that may resonate with some of you as well. But you got new moon in Pisces and new moon in Capricorn. Attune to the divine and step up and lead. Stop being a follower. Stop allowing others who are not attuned to the divine to lead you, to influence you, to tell you what to do and how to do it, and be not codependent but independent in your journey. Co-create with the divine. At the top of the deck we have new moon in Aquarius. I can't make this shit up. I told you that star energy is very much Aquarius energy. We got all this new moon energy in the cards, and we literally are in a new moon in Virgo as I am doing this reading, and you have open up to change, doing things differently, spinning the wheel, taking a risk, being open to doing things differently with different people, going a different route, thinking differently, but being open to change, not being closed-minded, closed-hearted, but being innovative. Aquarius is a very innovative and humanitarian type energy. So tapping into that part of you in order to be open to change, be receptive to change, and not just change on a surface level, but like deep within you. At the bottom of the deck, full moon in Capricorn. Take a reality check. This full moon energy is reality check energy is the only one that's a full moon energy that has came out, which tells me that your reality check involves releasing something. So as you are manifesting something new, you are manifesting change, you are manifesting higher consciousness, the way that's going to look in your 3D reality is going to require that you release something, somebody, somebodies, some ideas, some habits, some routines. There's something that needs to be released as you take this reality check and make some changes in your 3D reality. So I'm going to clarify this message with it was a full body day, and when I say my full body is hurting, it is hurting, but a good hurt that you put in work soreness, you know what I'm saying? Spirit, please clarify this message for the collective at this time. What is the message that is coming forward? As they attune to the divine and step up and lead. Y'all being called out. We being called out. Because I'm definitely feeling and embodying this energy as well. Having to fine tune how I'm operating and what I give my time and energy to, or who I give my time and energy to. And it's like no offense to nobody, you know what I'm saying? It's just being not only obedient but respectful of where the Most High is leading me and what the Most High is leading me to do. And in large part, the Most High is leading me not only to fall back, but to rest, and to rest up intentionally, because there's something else that I'm needing to do and be well rested and prepared to do it when it reveals itself to me. And so I dare not be disobedient or disrespectful to where that message is coming through to me clearly, right? It's for my highest good. It's for my higher self. And so as I am attuning to the divine, that's exactly what it is I'm having to do. And that's stepping up as a leader. You know what I'm saying? Because as a leader, I can't go just because I was invited. I can't connect just because certain people want to connect with me if it's not for my highest good at this time. And it has nothing to do with the people and everything to do with where I am on my divine mission. So that's something to be mindful of as you are. A lot of us are in transition on our journey. But one card fell out and we got the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords energy is very much one where a person feels stuck. They don't, and not only stuck, but stuck in your head. So for many of us, this message is also speaking to be still. Don't make no moves, because there are truths that need to be revealed to you. And those truths that need to be revealed to you are going to be revealed in due time and going to require that you take a reality check. Be still and attune to the divine. Be still and really meditate how you can step up as a leader. How you can be bolder about your position in life as a leader. Yeah. Top of the deck we have, okay, I meant to pull one, but I ended up pulling two. And I got the Eight of Pentacles, so that's another 8 energy. And then the Wheel of Fortune. The work that you've been putting in, the time, the effort, the mastery that has been taking place is going to change your fortune. Prosperity lies ahead. And that is why you're needing to be still. That is why you're needing to understand that things feel the way that they feel and are the way that they are, because you don't have all of the details. But there's going to be a reality check. And when that reality check comes about who you are, your value, your worth, how you're supposed to step up as a leader in your 3D reality, as a spiritual leader, it's going to spin the wheel for you, the Wheel of Fortune. But this is work that has been put in already, with the Eight of Pentacles being at the top of the deck. You've already placed your focus in this area of your life. You've already planted those seeds and you've reached a level of mastery on it. You know, they say where attention goes, energy flows. You put all your time, attention, and focus on mastering something within your 3D reality, and it is going to bring you good fortune in divine timing. Wheel of Fortune being a major arcana, so this ain't no petty reward or change that's taking place. Like, you're literally closing out a cycle of having to put forth so much hard work and actually being more receptive. At the bottom of the deck we have the Page of Wands, stepping out like a hot boy, a hot girl, inspired, enthused, being led by your passions. And as you do that, your reality is going to have to change. And then look at this, the wand that he's carrying. Baby, that is a phallus. That's a whole scrotum at the top of this thing. Big dick energy. Even though it's a page, the page just means you got more energy that is not it could be considered immature, but this is energy that has not been like harnessed. You know what I'm saying? That Page of Wands energy is like so enthusiastic and passionate that it's sometimes not, it's uncouth. You know what I'm saying? It's not regulated. It's that childlike fire that it's hard to tame it. You know what I'm saying? Like stepping out in that way, which is dope. And this is also giving me sacral chakra energy. So healing, having healed your sacral chakra and being able to connect in a more intimate, sensual, sexual, and creative way. This is creativity. This is trying new things. This is being enthusiastic and traveling and rock climbing and just being adventurous. You know what I'm saying? So I love this for us as a collective, and I'm going to close this message out with the Lightworkers Oracle, which is a deck that I love, but I haven't used it on the channel in a while. So Spirit, please clarify here this message for the collective at this time. So we had two cards to fall out: Merkaba, Spiritual Protection, and Hold Your Center. Merkaba, Spiritual Protection being represented by the number 7, and Hold Your Center represented by the number 34, which breaks down to a 7. So you got 25 breaking down to a 7, 34 breaking down to a 7. 777 may be significant to you guys, but I know for a fact Hold Your Center means hold your boundaries. Prioritize what it is that you need to prioritize and do what's best for you, and that is you stepping up as a leader. So this very much clarifies and aligns with that message of step up and lead. You know what I'm saying? Like, do your thing, do what you're called to do, not being held captive by groupthink. There was this article that I read when I was in my doctoral program, and it talked about like a group of people being at a sweat lodge, and this one guy was like complaining about how hot it was, and he looked around and there were people who were like passing out and they throwing up and all of these things that are considered to be normal reactions to being in a sweat lodge. But the whole point of being in the sweat lodge was to test your endurance and like stay to the end. But meanwhile, this man is seeing these people have these reactions that could be to their detriment, but because it was a group thing and nobody moved, right? Since nobody moved. It's like everybody was asleep waiting on one person to be like, fuck this, I'm out. And nobody did. So they were all captive to groupthink instead of thinking for themselves and being like, yeah, now I'm straight. And people died in this sweat lodge because nobody thought for themselves, thought about their own health, their own well-being, and exited stage left. You very much want to be mindful of where, because it is commonplace, it's what the people around you do and say and are accustomed to, that against your intuition, against your higher knowing, against your own research, you are being victim of groupthink and just going along and getting along. Hold your center. Stay true to who you are. So that is important. But the message of the Merkaba Spiritual Protection card here is that we are ascending. The Merkaba is a light vehicle that we all have the capacity to tap into, that protects us as we move from through realms and times and different energies as we are ascending energetically. So many of you have tapped into your light body, and you are now in a place where you are ascending and elevating to a higher level, and you have that Merkaba protection, making sure that you don't like get sick or energetically you aren't energetically overwhelmed as you are ascending. I'm gonna read the message of Merkaba Spiritual protection, but I want to see what's at the top and the bottom of the deck as well. What the fuck I do with the deck? Oh, it's behind the chair. Talking about tie. At the top we have power of the divine masculine, represented by the number 10. So this is speaking to those of us who are being intentional about our divine masculine healing. So I'm not just talking about men, because as women we are to heal and integrate our divine masculine energy as well. But the more that you're doing that, alchemical mutation is taking place. So there's some alchemy that is taking place in this situation, where we're turning lead into gold. We're turning our past experiences into wisdom. We are taking our situations and circumstance that would once be considered of less value, and we're making them priceless. We're making what do they call it, diamonds out of coal, you know what I'm saying, with this alchemical mutation. And for many of you, you may be experiencing Ascension symptoms where you're having headaches, or you're experiencing itching, especially like at your feet, or tingling feeling in your scalp or your skin somehow, or runny nose or sickness, the flu. Like, it's so many different physical ailments that are the physical manifestation of energetic ascension. So you want to be mindful of that as well. Damn. Now I don't even want to read the message of Merkaba spiritual protection, because I kind of want to read alchemical mutation, and that's what I'm gonna do. There you have it. This page of Wands energy, somebody's being activated. Being activated and like going to be seeing things with like a whole new set of eyes. But this perception, this new perception that you have, your rebirth, you're gonna be fired up about it. There's some things you're gonna be enthusiastic about doing and trying in this next leg of the journey. So now you're being prepared for it energetically. You're being prepared to receive different light codes and being activated, so that you can step up as a leader, step forward as your true authentic self, and answer your calling, walk in your divine mission as a light worker, and for some of you as a shadow worker. So I'm gonna read the message of alchemical mutation to close us out, represented by the number 31, which breaks down to a 4. 4 speaks to our stability, our safety, our security. Because where you once felt unsafe to love, unsafe to connect, unsafe to step forward as your authentic self, and step forward to connect with like-minded souls, soul family, kindred spirits, as a result of this alchemical mutation, you're gonna feel right at home. So your spiritual growth is changing your mind, body, and soul. It is very real. It is helping you fulfill all aspects of your divine destiny. It is awakening spiritual talents and attracting in new energies. This process will bring tremendous joy and satisfaction. The body changes as light enters. Alchemy is catalyzed and transformation happens. Sometimes the appearance of the body changes. There will be change in how the body feels, responds, acts, and creates. Radiance increases. Lightness of being increases. So where you've been feeling heavy and certain things just would drive you nuts or would haunt you, by way of alchemical mutation, you're going to feel lighter. You're going to feel healed. Those things are no longer going to weigh you down. If you have clairvoyant vision, you will see the increase in light as though the person is actually lit up from within. So many of you are going to like be more cognizant of your spiritual gifts, and for some of y'all that's going to be being able to see people's auras, or be able to see their light or their darkness. I've had that to happen as well. It's rare, but sometimes I literally can see the darkness on a person, like can't even see their face, because all I see when I look at them is like a dark blur, and that's their aura. Spiritual abilities become grounded in the body, and the person can channel healing energy just as naturally as they would set the dinner table. The spirit becomes a living reality in the body, and the material world is experienced as an extension of the divine light. This alchemy is an empowering gift of love. Symptoms of this process can at times be challenging. Told y'all, them Ascension symptoms. They may include headaches and other aches and pains, flu-like symptoms, and inexplicable and nearly overwhelming fatigue that lasts for days and then suddenly vanishes along with a surge of new energy, that Page of Wands energy. We may also experience pinging in the ears, so some of y'all may have like ringing or high-pitched noise that you're hearing randomly, increased sensitivity to light or sound, hormonal imbalance, and hot flushes, excessive sexual energy, that kundalini rising, mental obsessions or mood swings, aggression, and unintentionally harsh reactions to people. If you've been experiencing any of the above and wondered if these or other unusual symptoms could be a direct result of increased spiritual energy affecting the body, then the answer is that this is very likely. You are encouraged to source whatever professional health support you need to take care of your body. I would strongly suggest a like a sound bath, or maybe even a tarot reading, listening to some healing frequencies to help support you throughout this alchemical process. Also consider using the following simple practices to ease away the side effects of divine alchemy taking place in you. These simple practices include getting regular rest, get them naps. You know, I am a member of the nap ministry. I believe in rest as not only self-care, but rest as resistance wholeheartedly. Additional sleep is a powerful way for the body and mind to heal and repair, integrate and reorganize. Also, I advise, and this is something that I do religiously, sleep with crystals. Sleep with crystals around you, on your nightstand, on your body, in your bed. Be intentional about the crystals that you're using to help you with this healing process while you rest. I was talking to somebody at an event and they were asking me, did I have any tips for meditation, because they struggle with meditating. And I told them, I said, and we're working with crystals, and I was like, do it while you sleep. That's a point where you don't have any distractions. You know what I'm saying? The work is still being done, even though your body is in a resting state. That's one of the best times to do it. And I actually like to meditate before I go to bed, because I'll be in like a meditative state and then I drift on off into sleep. And most times I can still remember whatever visions or light or images or symbols or whatever that I saw during that meditative state before I go into that deeper state of sleep. Sometimes that manifests as a dream, and sometimes I just check out. You know what I'm saying? So that's my advice when it comes to getting some rest, and also having a healing practice while going through this alchemical mutation. Additional sleep is a powerful way for the body and mind to heal and repair, integrate and reorganize. Allow time for physical exercise, which can help release excess energy, especially if you tend to feel mentally congested. Take some time away from meditation, spiritual studies, or discussions and energy work should you feel called to. Instead, simply be in nature or rest. If you work with colors, then take a break for a short time. Only work with very soft, subdued, white, or colorless light. If you have a tendency to push yourself with spiritual work, learning to take off on regular occasions will help you recover more quickly and suffer less. So this is not the time to amp up whatever spiritual practice you already have, if you already have one. Now is the time to actually rest and fall back, and only do those spiritual practices if they are helping you through this alchemical mutation. So very much a matter of being aware of where you are on the journey and having balance. So if you've been doing it too much or doing it a lot, you need to fall back. If you haven't been doing enough, you need to kick it up a notch. But only you would know that about your particular journey. If you have a tendency to push yourself with spiritual work, learning to take time off on regular occasions will help you recover more quickly and suffer less. Finally, working with cooling energy, not cold but refreshing, as a way to discharge excess heat can be extremely beneficial to body and mind. You can do this by sitting in the shade or in a room that feels cool and relaxing, or even by cooling your hands before an air conditioner or fan. Then use your fingertips to transfer cool and healing energy by lightly touching your chest, back of neck, and back of your head, ears, and forehead. Another thing that would be helpful, that is a common hoodoo practice, is to cool your head with a head wash, which would include, I would say, like, I love to work with coconut milk as a base. You can get a can of coconut milk for like $1.50, $1.99 from the grocery store. Some spring water, some mint. Mint is very cooling. You really don't need none now, but you can include some hyssop, which is a very like purifying herb. Mix that up, pray over it, and literally pour it over your head as a cooling agent, because it is true that when you're going through an ascension, especially if it's a kundalini awakening or a kundalini rising, feeling hot, feeling overheated, having hot flashes, feeling extremely horny, but that's your creative energy that you're tapping into. So finding different outlets for it, like painting and singing and writing music, or rapping and recording, or working out, and just different outlets for that energy, but always balance that out with some rest. So I hope this message found y'all well. If it did not find you well, I hope that it leaves you well. If you are needing a spiritual bath, I would be more than happy to mix it up for you and get it to you. So you can email me at turquoisemajesty@gmail.com should you want to book a in-person sound healing session, or online, or distance or in-person tarot reading. You can email me at turquoisemajesty@gmail.com as well for those services. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. If you'd like to donate to the channel, that information is in the description box below. Should you just want to talk and have a consultation about what you're experiencing at this time, feel free to hit me up for that as well. I do consultations. But yeah, y'all, with that being said, you have my love and my support as you are elevating on your journey. And until next time, peace.